I'm going to place my hand down on the fabric and I'll bring this ruler down. Now when I bring the ruler, I'll take my pointer fingers and my thumbs. And what I'm going to do is just kind of lift that up and place that ruler along. That get a grip material on the back of the ruler, that's going to lock that in place and it doesn't move. So when I go to move the ruler, lifting with my pointer fingers and my thumbs and kind of repositioning allows me to do that. Now what am I looking at? I'm looking at this line here and making sure that this side of the ruler lines up with my blue line of my mat all the way down here as well. You can also, right on the edge of the mat, line up the ruler edge as well as another guideline. The next thing I want to do is look at these lines here. Again, the fabric, for me to actually cut through these slots, the fabric has to be past this line. And on the other side of the mat, I think you can see that line. And again, my fabric needs to be in between there. So if I wanted to cut from here to here, that would give me a 2.5. I'd place my blade along and cut, and I'd place my blade along in here and cut. But if I didn't want 2.5, I wanted 2.25, I'm going to read the ruler, and I see that from here to here, left-handed, I need to turn the ruler. I'm going to turn the ruler. Notice I put my hand down on that fabric so that fabric doesn't move. I pick up the ruler, and then I place my hand down on the ruler again. What I want to do is, again, look at those lines and notice I'm bringing this ruler back. Why? This was a little bit close to the edge. I had plenty of room, but since I've got lots of fabric space, I'm going to go ahead and line that up. Now when I go to cut, we're going to cut left-handed and then I'll do it right-handed. But when I go to cut, my fingers, a pointer finger, a thumb, my middle finger right about here, kind of figure where the logo is. I don't need to do this. I don't need to do this where I've got all that pain here, and I certainly don't need to do this. Light pressure where my shoulder is when I go to cut. So my fingers here, I place my blade along, and remember, we're not forward over pronating like a pilot landing. We're not under pronating like a pilot taking off, but we've got this nice and straight. My fingers here, and then the one other piece of advice that I have here is this finger, when you go to cut, you're not going to go too far to the right and too far to the left. Most of us, because we've had our body here, this blade's at an angle. Because our body is where our shoulder is, as I go to cut forward, that blade stays nice and straight. So that fabric goes. I'm going to place my blade in for the 2.25. Again, drag, get it caught in there, that blade's in. Light pressure, I don't need a lot of pressure. Thumb, pointer finger, middle finger, right around the tips of the Martelli logo, and then I cut. And what that allows me to do is cut a beautiful 2.25 strip. Now I had 2 layers of fabric under here. Earlier when I showed you that blade of the 45 and the blade of the 60, that's when I could cut 10 or 12 layers of fabric. Imagine every single one being exactly the same. Why? Because this ruler does not move. You can